That was a personal choice.
Let's just move on.
Why were you taking the 405 to go to Rocky Horror?
See, that's why I threw up, probably, because it was my way of saying we're going the wrong way.
They probably took the 10 to the 405 and got off on Santa Monica Boulevard to go to that theater over.
All right, Californian GPS, everybody hush. Let's get to the important thing. Where is the thing? It's about the subpoenas. Where is that?
Oh, the subpoenas?
Hang on.
That would be number 6, I believe.
Oh, yes, number 6, please. Thank you, Colonel.
All right.
Colonel? Chairman Adam Schiff. I just made him a colonel.
Sure.
Why not?
Why
Sure.
not?
I want him to be president, too. Let's start with Colonel.
We are of one mind. Anyone who does not comply, we will refer for criminal prosecution. And there needs to be accountability. It really is essential for us to bring our democracy back from the brink, that we once again have a rule of law that applies equally to everyone.
Yes, thank you. And once again, God bless the United States.
God bless the United States.
And happy New Year to you in jail. Oh, it's getting that time of year. Maybe he will be. Maybe it'll be Merry Christmas to him. Happy New Year in jail.
I think justice moves a little bit slower than that.
You do?
Yeah.
I want it for Christmas.
I know.
I am Veruca Salt, and I want it for Christmas.
I know you do, Billy. I know you do.
Don't you talk to me in PSA, loser towny guy.
What do you have, chlamydia?
Chlamydia-ridden loser towny guy.
Why don't you go make him some coffee like a good girl?
Loser towny guy.
We've been working together so long, we speak to each other exclusively in 20-year-old PSAs.
Well, that's because you have
chlamydia.
Shut up! I do not, loser towny guy. Oh no! Oh, can you get the little girl that doesn't want Obama to go? This is me. Hearing yesterday that Chairman John Yarmouth is retiring.
We're working on getting him on the show.
Raising one brow says, I hope John Yarmouth is retiring to spend more time with Stephanie Miller.
Yes.
Yes, I told you.
No!
I'm not ready.
It's okay. We got to vote for another president.
Congressman.
I'm not ready for a new one.
Oh.
I
think that just proves there is not enough bourbon in the world to deal with these mother Republicans.
That's what I think it is.
How do you deal with people that are terrorist, insurrectionist, lunatics?
They're trying to kill you.
Sorry.
Well, I think he is our longest regular congressman that comes to visit with us.
Yeah. But I wonder how any rational people can deal with these.
Yeah.
This Republican Party is just a terrorist cult. They're not a governing body anymore, which is why all these former Republicans are like, vote for Democrats down the line in 2022. We're the only sane party out there.
I understand why he's leaving, but we still need strong Democrats in Congress to fight against what's going on the right.
Yes. Pardon me. I
know. You're not paying attention to me.
I'm not.
You don't listen to me.
Because Jamie is in full peer paw mode and has decided to tangle my headphone cords in her front paws. I just gave you a biscuit. What did I just give you? And that was your second one. Okay, this is like negotiating with Republicans on the reconciliation bill.
She knows she can pull more biscuits out of you.
This is like a debt ceiling biscuit standoff. Okay. Now, my point is... All right, so you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say once again,
Stephanie Miller,
center of the universe. I'm just saying, what did we just discuss yesterday about them keeping the same money but reducing the time on the bill, right?
Yeah.
And who's Nancy Pelosi said it. I say it here. It comes out there. Who reported on this first? Hang on a second. Hold, please. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
Yes.
It's been kind of bantering around all over the place.
No, it started here. It didn't happen unless it was said here. Okay. She basically, first of all, oh my God, this starts with the media, right? They just, what's in these bills is news too.
Yeah,
I get that you just want negative stuff and you want clicks and
the drama.
Oh, Afghanistan disaster. Oh my God, Joe Biden. Oh my God, his approval ratings. Oh no. It's
disarray.
Right. What's in these bills is actually really important to the American people. So you can't put it all on Democrats, like, oh, they don't message or whatever. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, I think, said it yesterday. I come up here every time and tell you what's in it. You don't report on it.
Yeah.
Right? There it is.
Number
one. Yeah, please.
Well, I think you all could do a better job of
Thank
selling
you.
it, to be very frank with you, because every time I come here, I go through the list.
family and medical leave, climate, the issues that are in there. And but it is true, it is hard to break through when you have such a comprehensive package.
Good morning.
I'm relieved to know that Biden has not canceled Christmas.
No, although I hear that he's taking up a side gig at FedEx.
Yes. I've offered to go be a dock worker because my potty mouth should not go to waste during this supply chain incident.
I love that he's now responsible for everybody getting every piece of holiday mail on time when we've spent the last several years trying to straighten out the mess of the post office, thanks to President Trump and his appointees.
Thank you. By the way, I know that there's a lot of things on our plate, Carl. Why is Louis DeJoy still? Why has he not been fired? Don't we have the number of people on the board now to get this done? He is a disgrace. He has destroyed the. It's still going on. I hear it all the time. That stuff is not, getting delivered on time. What do you think is happening?
And that, that's what I worry about when we think about future elections as well. Is this damage that's being done over time.
Right. Which it started as purposely doing that to slow down mail-in ballots because they knew more Democrats were going to vote by mail. Right. I mean, it's. Oh my God. All right. Mark Elias, the election attorney, just said, I have no doubt we are only one, maybe two elections from a constitutional crisis. My fear is that those who support democracy are not as prepared or as focused as those who seek to subvert it. But I hope I am wrong. Now is the time to act. I mean, you hear everybody from Joy Reid to Hillary Clinton saying this, that I don't think Democrats are taking this seriously enough. What is happening? What is your take on that, Carl?
I think a lot of people are, afraid. And what do people do when they're afraid? They put their heads down, they ignore things, and that's unfortunate. And I think the only way we're going to be able to, right that ship is to wake people up and make sure that they're hearing these messages. About the
right, the ship, the ship. I'm sorry.
Yes. We all jumped in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're a little on edge right now.
Okay. Go ahead.
That'll wake you up.
You were saying?
Thank goodness for delays that are unneeded.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God, how many years have we been in radio? Yeah. I get that little shiver in my stomach and a little. Okay, go ahead.
And so we've got to make sure that people are aware of all of these things that are happening, so that they are prepared for this. And look, if people do not elect the right people up and down the ballot at every level,
right,
those positions will be, taken over by others who are not committed.
Right. Or should be committed, as the case may be. I swear to God, I do blame Donald Trump for a lot of it. I really do. I just feel like he has opened this Pandora's box of that it's just okay to be awful and violent to anybody you feel like. I mean, I don't know whether it's partially COVID after almost 2 years, Trump, but, not just school boards, right? But on flights, just them threatening election officials, the whole lock her up chance about whoever, it started from Hillary and now it's any woman they don't like that's in even if they're a Republican election official, right?
Well, and that's the big issue here, right? Is that what Trump did that was worse than anything was he broke down norms. And some of those norms were the way we conduct ourselves in public business. Yeah. Certainly our respect for institutions. And so there's a strategy behind that. It's the same strategy that has been the liberal media bias strategy, right?
Yeah.
The liberal media bias strategy was designed to make it so that you could have an entire segment of the electorate siloed off, not trusting, reality. And this is the other bookend of that, right? Don't trust government institutions. Don't trust when, medical science is telling you something. Only trust me. Only trust Donald Trump. Only trust whatever insert right-wing radical extremist gatekeeper you want. And so, the numbers that you read are heartening that a good portion of Republicans don't follow that, but they need to show it with their ballots.
Yeah.
Hi, and to think we're only a month or two away from the whole debate over Black Superman or Black Santa Claus.
Right.
Yes. Black Santa Claus, yes. We have to make a big, political debate, a big shovel fight over fictional characters. It's unbelievable. And so many of them forget that this is the son of Superman. This is not Clark Kent. It's Jonathan Kent. And so the whole Lois Lane thing is completely irrelevant unless there's something going on in the comics that I'm not aware of that would be extra saucy.
That's really awkward.
Who is the right the right wing lady that like Superman is in love with Lois Lane? Period. Because she misspelled Lois. Like, oh, you're just doubling down that he's obviously gay or bi. Okay.
Yeah. That was my porn name for a while.
Was it? I thought so.
Lewis Lane is trans.
It wasn't Dick Bench.
Speaking of shovel fights.
Dick Bench.
Yeah. Speaking of shovel fights and superheroes, Bob Seska on Twitter yesterday, I was just like, go on.
With your bad self.
Well, you are like me, happy clappy. You are a fighter. It was a whole sort of, and there's a bunch of different people responding to you, but you said, I'm okay with taking a breather from politics on a personal basis if you're feeling burned out, but giving up on democracy is not a winning political strategy, and it's exactly what they want. But you somebody all capped you. I don't even know what they were responding to. Just bull, Bob. A fixed craps table is not won by trying harder. It's won by throw the table over and crush the fixed dice. It's time to crush the dice. And you said, well, yeah, I guess because there's gerrymandering, we should just give up. Or whatever crushing the dice means. You win more elections by registering, turning out significantly more voters. Ask Stacey Abrams whether she thinks we should crush the dice or register more voters. So, Bob, I would say all of the above. Yes, we call and protest and scream about getting the voting rights bill. We fight on every front, but you can't. That's your point. You can't give up on every front. You can't go, oh, well, because the voter suppression bills, then we're just going to give up. It has to make us fight harder, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, none of it matters. Any court challenges to some of these laws, it's irrelevant unless we're winning more elections on top of it. And that's the key. And this all originated out of this ongoing discussion about civil war and secession. And I was kind of, as I have been many times over the last year or so, deeply concerned over the casual nature with which the idea of secession is brought about on social media.
Yeah.
These discussions.
And civil war. Yeah,
exactly. Like this is, we're just going to do this, and it's going to be it's going to look like another debate on Twitter. It's going to look like one of my comment threads or something like that. And that's not what it's going to look like. It's going to look like a bloodbath. Yeah. And I think even the notion of saying, well, those red states, all those Trump people, they can go and secede if they want to. Good riddance, go. Even that is pro-secession and completely contrary. I mean, you talk about dishonoring the sacrifices that were made during the first Civil War. I mean, this would be it, saying that secession is something that we can just casually toss around as, it's sort of like, well, you know what? I've given up on democracy. I've given up on the notion of having a republic on the North American continent. Let's just secede and turn ourselves into Eastern Europe. That'll work.
Yeah, well,
that never leaves nations vulnerable to attack, does it?
Yeah, I mean, you made a great point, Bob, on Twitter. You said if you're okay with letting red states secede, you support secession too. Don't be a secessionist. I mean, right? It's the same. I never heard anybody make that point that way, and
I mean, I could sit here for the next 5 hours and list all the reasons why secession is just such a terrible idea, and how even entertaining it, normalizing it, joking about it, not good. And we need to reacquaint ourselves with the reasons why secession is just a terrible idea. It's the end of all things, basically, for the United States.
And, there's all these Trump rally people, Bob, just casually saying, oh, I see a civil war. I see a civil war coming. And you just said civil war is the thing you embrace when you've given up. Yeah. It's like the sweatpants of democratic politics, only the sweatpants are permanently drenched in the blood of your friends and family. Oh, Bob, you went a little dark.
Oh,
you went a little dark.
I know, geez.
For Halloween.
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, we fought a revolution, and that was important. And we use our military and the arsenal of the military to defend our nation. But the way we operate in a democracy is not through the point of a gun, not through fighting our own fellow Americans. Democracy is a battle of words, a battle of ideas. And if you've gotten to the point where your ideas are so ineffectual, and you've gotten to the point where you don't want to mention these ideas because you're so sick and tired of it, so you storm off and start shooting people, you don't support democracy. That is not democracy. That's not what it's all about. That is some other terrible form of militarism, guerrilla warfare, however you want to define it. But it seems like there's a considerable number of people, and I see them in my comments. So it's not necessarily indicative of the broader universe that we're living in, but at least on social media, I see a lot of people who are like, it's all over. I'm turning over the game board and storming off, or I'm chucking the video game controller across the room when I'm not doing well in the video game and just quitting. And that's what this is all about.
Oh,
this is
now you're talking.
So disconcerting.
Now you're talking Chris LeBoy's language. As you said, you don't solve problems by hurling the game board across the room and storming off. That only creates new and progressively worse problems. You know, Chris LeBoy is from as a child. When the Lincoln log didn't look exactly like it did on the box, he threw it and stormed away. Correct?
I was a child perfectionist. Yes.
So that's the political types were right. You just smash it and walk away. Right.
So Chris, you were going after you were suing the system. You're taking on the system.
Right.
It wasn't just that.
No, he was a little brat. He was a little brat. That's what.
If I couldn't get the Lincoln Logs to look like it looked on the front of the box, it upset me.
And you're blaming the manufacturer.
Yes, I am.
It's something more. It's like Governor Lepetamine from Blazing Saddles. I always get the warped one. He's got the paddle game that doesn't work. Why do I always get the warped one?
Baby Chris's first Hulk smash. So cute. Bob, I rode bikes this weekend with someone 6'7", that I'm like, Bob Seska would look like a squirt next to this guy.
I noticed that.
It was like, oh my God, I drafted behind him the whole time. It was like being behind a moving billboard. I was like, wow, I can't feel any wind at all.
It's amazing. The difference between 6'4" and 6'7" is
huge.
Well, it's 3 inches. But I mean, in terms of my perception, they might as well be 9 feet tall.
Yes.
And I love it. I love hanging around with people
and he's
who
a
are
nurse.
taller than me.
He's a nurse, and he's tired of COVIDiots too. I'm like, we're going to need all of our nurses to look like bouncers and just go shut the up and take the vaccine before I. Okay.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. One more point you made. You said that doesn't mean spinning our wheels in unwinnable districts. It means dominating on other ballots. The U.S. Senate isn't subject to gerrymandering. Neither is the presidency or gubernatorial elections. So I think, Bob, I'm with you. Just fight on every front. Obviously, I'm just as frustrated as anybody else about voting rights and all of what we need to get.
Yeah.
And just what we were just talking about, that anywhere, Bob, from 70 to 90% of Americans are for every piece of the Build Back Better plan. But, the media doesn't report what's in it. 10% of Americans know what's in it, right? And it's so it is endlessly sort of frustrating that, when we talk about, moderates and progressives, well, these are all progressive policies, and the huge majority of Americans are for all of them, right? So, so to have like two senators dictating basically, against what the vast majority of Americans, including people in their states, want is endlessly infuriating, right?
We went through this with the Affordable Care Act, with Obamacare, where people were saying, I hate Obamacare. We should repeal Obamacare. And then when they're asked about the individual aspects of Obamacare, the most popular things, even on down, there was only one thing that was unpopular, and it was the mandate. Everything else had majority support among the American people. In some cases, supermajority support. So it's a matter of people seeing how the sausage is being made and evaluating the legislation based on observing the process on cable news. That's what I think skews people into believing, this legislation is terrible. And then when they're asked about the parts of it, they go, that's great. I want that. My God, that other thing's in there. I didn't know that. And so that's kind of the disparity that we see. And that's why we can't have nice things in this country, because cable news makes the legislative process into this, once again, we're in a horse race. It's, who's up, who's down, who's won the week, who's lost the week.
Yeah.
And instead of detailing the advantages of what's in the legislation, or the disadvantages, as some cases might be, we're into this whole idea of wins and losses and who's up and who's down.
Democracy is on its death's doorstep, and we play the happy Malcolm Nance.
Right. Yeah.
The upbeat Nance. Yes. Oh, we were, and I was just saying yesterday, Malcolm, don't you hate it when you're trying to sell nuclear submarine secrets to someone in a peanut butter sandwich, and when you're trying to pay with cryptocurrency, and then it says the FBI agent? Oh my God, I hate when that happens.
Well, to tell you the truth, I coordinated with Frangela that we're going to do an Idiot of the Week espionage version.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, special guest star on Idiot of the Week.
So stupid.
I know.
Oh, by the way,
if ever there was a story with your name on it, it was this one.
Oh my God. First off, if anyone's not listening to Idiot of the Week podcast,
oh my God,
and Frangela, you're missing out.
Yes.
I told you, I actually, they caused me to hit a wall in Wales.
You told me.
So that podcast is incredible. How is that not one of the top 10 podcasts?
Listen, it is wildly popular on the Sexy Liberal Podcast Network. Both Final Word and Idiot of the Week. I have the same thing. I ride my bike, and I have actually had to text them that I rode off the road on a couple of occasions. So
we're going to do that. So this case with the two Americans who decided that they wanted to spy for an unidentified country, and the fact that it was about submarines tells you it was Russia.
Yeah.
You guys know
okay.
I'm former Navy. I'm submarine qualified, which means I went down and memorized everything there ever is to know about an atomic submarine, including doing tours in the reactor watch room.
Yeah.
Not fun. But these people thought, what did they say? We want to help your country.
Yeah.
By committing straight up, literally Constitution written level treason against the United States. And here's what's going to happen to them. They're going to prison for the rest of their lives. The wife assisted him. And the wife can't really testify against the husband unless she wants to. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those times she might want to do it. She should have said, hey, he was out there doing Pokemon Go and I didn't want to participate in it. As opposed to him putting microchips inside of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and leaving them next to a remote rock in the backwoods of West Virginia.
Yeah.
That guy's going to prison for a long time.
Maybe because I hang out with you, whenever there's an unnamed country, I always say, I'm going to guess it's Russia. Somebody stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop and tried to sell it to a foreign... I'm going to guess Russia. Yes, okay. Okay.
Let me write that down. We have to write these down so that I have at least 4 good idiots to choose from.
Yeah.
But they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of it, I don't want to give too much away, is when so I've said this on this show before and other shows. If you think you're talking to Al-Qaeda or ISIS or some other nefarious underground organization, you're talking to the FBI.
Yes, you labeled that.
If they come back and communicate to you, you're definitely talking to the FBI.
You hashtag that around and find out. Yes, you are likely not. You were talking to an FBI agent.
You are talking to an FBI.
Yeah. So, Malcolm, I was saying, I love that everybody's giving Bill Maher credit for the slow-moving coup thing. I'm like, do you know who's been saying that? It's Malcolm Nance, Joy Reid. I mean, a lot of people. So, God bless everyone that's on board, right? But a lot of people have been saying that this is, and it's not even slow moving, and it's not even surreptitious. It's right out in the open, this ongoing insurrection, right?
Well, God bless Bill Maher for finally catching up. I mean, I love Bill. I hope to be back on his show soon. I will remind him that on November 6th, 2020, I said on his show the United States was headed into an insurgency. And he said, you mean like paramilitary? And I said, yes, political paramilitary. And I refer to that as the Kumbaya show. Hey, this is the...
Oh, no. Malcolm has frozen.
And I was the fly in Mike Pence's hair on that show, saying, no, this isn't going to happen. Essentially, civil war is coming. And I'm glad he's finally come around to seeing all the signs that I saw a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, and as I say, people like Joy Reid, there's just Sarah Kendzior, or a lot of our friends, and, you out front there, Malcolm, this is... then when you see it, I don't know how you feel, when you see this Trump supporter say, I see civil war coming, it's like, they're just saying it as if it's something that's inevitable, that is a preferred outcome, right? I mean, and that's where all of this is going, unless we punish. I have to hope that when they don't show up this week, we are bringing the hammer down with the subpoenas for this January 6th commission, because you have got to put a stop to this.
Right. And the only way that you're going to put a stop to it is by doling out real punishment. A lot of these people who took part in the Capitol protests, Capitol riots, including people who committed violence, have gotten off with very, very mild cases, very, very mild sentences, even though they cut plea bargains. Look at the woman who flew, the realtor who flew an executive jet up with her friends to go into the Capitol and party. She got off with a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Every person who entered that building should have been prosecuted for a felony.
Yeah.
And the only way that you would get a lesser felony is to turn another person in. But to let people off with misdemeanors, no. Taking part in an attack on the United States government should be a felony. But, don't be a black guy selling cigarettes on the street corner. You'll get choked to death.
Yeah.
Don't be a guy passing a fake $20 bill you may or may not have known was fake off. You get killed. You'll get choked to death.
Well, but I say
there are two different justice systems at play here.
Oh, the one guy got let off because he wanted to go to the football game this weekend. I mean, but I guess our point, Malcolm, is it's got to go to the top. Our friend Rob Reiner, your friend and mine, just said, if you're afraid to indict this guy, Trump, because you're afraid, his cult's going to start a civil war, you've already lost the civil war.
Well, let me step in here and mimic some of the writings of some of my friends on Twitter, who include a few people who are, make-believe lawyers. One thing is, before you can actually go after them for contempt of Congress, you really have to give them the opportunity to break all the laws. They were supposed to deliver electronic material by last Thursday, and then by the 14th, they were supposed to present themselves. We're going to have to give them the opportunity to finally commit some real crimes here before they can be given a criminal referral over to the Justice Department. But this is not a Justice Department that's in the pocket of a friendly president who's letting all of his friends off the way they did with Steve Bannon and all the rest. These are people who you can send the U.S. Marshals to arrest and force to cause them to come in there. You can put out a warrant for their arrest once there's been a criminal referral, which means every law enforcement organization in the United States will have to deliver you up. So let's let this run down to the 14th, and let's see if Steve Bannon and all the rest of them want to play this game. What they're going to do is this, Steffi. They are going to file a countersuit saying that they don't have to go, and this is Trump's game, his long game. Put everything in the courts, run it out for 2 or 3 years. Yes, I think they should do that while they are waiting in jail.
Yep. Speaking of which, Steve Bannon. So I love that Meadows has been able to go on Fox News but not testify yet.
And Bannon still has a podcast.
Yeah,
right.
And Bannon still has a podcast. Here he is.
We're proving that elections have consequences and stolen elections have catastrophic consequences. And this, for the audience tonight, to have Amanda and Jeremy and Ben that have toured all over the country, really spreading the word of populism and nationalism and traditionalism. And Ben's reporting from the border, which has been incredible. But particularly somebody I'm really proud of, has been on the show so many times and helped us co-host, is Commander Greitens. Because we're in a time, it's about leadership. We understand Biden is illegitimate. We understand Biden stole it. Biden and the apparatus around stole it.
What? No.
Okay.
Malcolm, it's the big lie. First of all, Trump was in charge, right? Him saying, how could this happen on January 6th? The people in charge didn't do their... You were in charge. How did Biden succeed in stealing the election when you were in charge of everything, right? The Justice Department, all of the Republicans in all of these states that Biden won. Go ahead.
I just want to point something out with that statement he just made. One, forget about all the crazy lies that he just said in there. We know all about those. It's the fact that he is now supporting former Navy SEAL commander Greitens, who wasn't he the governor of Missouri?
Yeah.
Yes.
And sexually assaulted a woman in her basement